guys, thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel and welcome to the Laverda Project. So this is a completely new thing that I'm working on. I'm at home in the city of Charlotte, North Carolina where I live, and I'm down at my buddy Dave Collier's business. It's called Ink Floyd, and he's inside scratching around with the project, and I want to show you what we're up to. So come on inside. I think it's going to rain here in a minute anyway, so we're just going to go through the service entrance here and see if we can find Dave. Let's have a little look here. Hey, hey. Aha, Dave, there he is. How's it going, buddy?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. So guys, this is my buddy Dave Collier. We are at Ink Floyd. I can see you've actually been rummaging through my parts.
Man, this thing it's so rad to see it in the flesh after talking about it. It's just, man, it just looks so good. I love this tank. It's just, you gotta be excited about this.
Yeah. So this is the start of the Laverda Project. What is a Laverda? It is a 1978 Italian motorcycle, 3-cylinder 1200. And I bought it in 1984 in England. If you look at the original license plate, for those of you that grew up in Europe or England, that T designates that it was a 1978. That plate lives with the bike forever. And it's been in pieces for a lot of years. And these are original wheels. The engine, Dave, is of course at
Over at Tutopia here in Charlotte.
So give us a bit of brief on Tutopia, because they're pretty, this is going to get put together at Tutopia.
Yeah, I mean, I think those guys really have a command of pretty much everything across the board for motorcycles, and of course specialize in a lot of the vintage bikes. I mean, they do a little bit of everything, right? Except for Japanese for the most part.
Old European,
Yeah.
BSA, Triumph, Norton, AJS, Ducati, Laverda, Moto Guzzi. So yeah, this is definitely going to the right place.
Yeah, better them than me. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be able to handle any of that. I'm more of the aesthetics guy. But yeah, engine-wise, I'm really excited to see them just get that thing dialed from the ground up.
Yeah, Nate wants to make it breathe some fire. So basically, what the project is, the Laverda Project, is to take my old bike that I bought 35 years ago, put it back together in a very modern way, stylistically, suspension, brakes, and then we're going to take it to England. And what we want you to do, yes, well, actually what we do want you to do is come with us on the journey here at NealeBaylyRides YouTube channel as we source parts, build engines, and I don't know, gonna get around some crazy characters in the city of Charlotte. Yeah,
it's gonna be great, and I can't wait to see this thing come together.
Yeah.
So I actually really like these mag wheels, but you don't think you're gonna use them?
Nate is talking going 17s, maybe spoked, modern suspension, modern brakes, modern wheels.
So it's kind of the best of both worlds, like the Neale classic.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The cool part about this, and we'll get up, I think we'll go sit down and have a chit chat, because I know you've got some questions that you want answered about the project.
Yeah.
Like, how do we suddenly start this idea of taking the old bike home, and what are we trying to achieve here, right?
Right. Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. So Neale, there's so many like cool layers to this story, you know? I mean, we've obviously got the restoration part and, you know, those kinds of things, but kind of the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, you know, but there's a great kind of story to it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, really it started for me in 2013, and did a story for a magazine, Iron and Air, spinning backwards, and I went back to England with my then 13-year-old young'un, and we rode around England, Scotland, and Wales. And basically, instead of just writing a travel story about our travels, I interspersed my history of memories that came up while I was in England. You know, my Laverda and crashing, and traveling the world. And this is one of the original pictures of me on the Laverda. And what happened was I did 2 stories while I was there. One was the physical trip we took through England, Scotland, Wales, back into England and home. And the second one was like the emotional trip, remembering friends and bikes, and
Right.
and the two got weaved together in the story. It was called Speeding Backwards, and it was about, my friends in England, the bikes we rode, the places we went. It kind of worked through my world travels.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess this sort of sparked me to the idea about, redoing the Laverda and taking it home. And obviously you and I had that conversation that day. I called about some stuff. And you kind of sparked the idea, and I think that's kind of why we're here at this junction. It started with the magazine story about the idea of comparing my life then and now,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that I still have this old motorcycle for 35 years.
Yeah. And so you had, you had a Honda at the time, and you wrecked it, and that's how you got the Laverda for the first time, like brand new to you?
Yeah, my buddy Nick Raskelli, who still builds bikes, by the way, and he still lives in my hometown. Nothing much has changed there.
Mm-hmm.
I had a CBX 550 Honda, which
Right.
was a rave bike in the day, and so did my friend, and I flipped his. That was the end of my stunting career, and my sternum and some ribs.
Mm.
And so I wrecked that. I had a Moto Guzzi Le Mans that blew up,
Okay.
and just prior to that, I had actually bought the Laverda.
Okay. And what year is this?
This is 1985.
Okay.
So I've already made one trip to America,
Okay.
hitchhiked around America, lived with the bank robber.
Awesome.
Pretty good experience.
More on that later.
This is the part where you tune out, right? Well, it hasn't gone beyond the statute of limitations. So I actually did leave before he robbed the bank and have a stamp in my passport that will substantiate that.
Good.
And
idea.
took off to Latin America, which was great. I mean, it was during the Sandinista Contra War, the Banana Republic, So basically, it was a lot of soldiers, lots of guns, lots of bullets flying, and a few other dodgy things went on.
Yeah.
And I was trading money on the black market. I fell in love with a Ravenhead beauty, and eventually I went back to England. So the Laverda was at my mother's. I was back in England, and had a little faux pas with a friend's Honda 550.
Oh, right.
End of my stunting career. So I'm stuck at home in England, middle of winter, or early winter. It's always winter in England. What am I on about? Pissing down with rain, coughing blood, swallowing narcotics, on the couch, and the phone rings. So bank robber Benson is trying to cajole me into coming back to the States. I think he might have wanted some evidence that he'd been coerced in the bank job, which that's neither here nor there. So anyway, I say, okay, Jimmy, as soon as I can get it, I'll be there. So a few weeks later, I picked up some work, got some money, hitchhiked to London, bought a one-way ticket to New York, land in New York, one-way ticket, no outward bound ticket, bus ticket to Florida, $100 in my pocket, a bottle of Johnny Walker Red. 36 hours later, I'm in Florida, boom. Never permanently lived in England again.
For how many years?
35 years.
Wow.
So I'd parked the Laverda
Okay.
at that time. At my
Laverda
mother's.
didn't come across the pond.
No. So it came to America somewhere in the early to mid 90s. I was, got back to America in 85 with my $100.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't go home for 4 years.
Okay.
Ended up in Australia, Japan, China, Alaska. Ended up married.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Staying busy.
Yeah, I mean, quite remarkable that somebody actually married me at that point, right? And so when I did get back about 4 years later, the Laverda was still there. We got it out.
Okay.
Spent a summer back there. Did kind of like got it running and whatever. Yeah. And then it was about the mid 90s that I brought it to America.
Okay.
And it was a pretty dodgy old thing at that point. There was a bad rattle in the engine. The clutch was about coming to parts. So eventually it ended up getting taken to bits. And you know how those things happen.
Yeah.
They get taken to bits, they put in boxes, and nothing happens. And a decade goes by, and kids and business and travel and life. And there it sat for the longest time until we started, again, till I made this story in 2013. Then I started these conversations with you.
Mm-hmm.
And here we find ourselves at this point where, for me now, I think the most important thing for me to do in my life is to put my old motorcycle together.
Yeah.
And go home. and ride in England, see my friends.
Full circle.
And obviously, with your input, we've got to here and bring you guys along on the journey of putting the bike together, which will then lead to all the adventures that we're going to have back in England with my original motorcycle. And I do think so many people I run across, I wish I'd kept that original bike I had when I was a kid.
Right.
I wish I'd kept my original car.
Yeah.
And even speaking to people that don't ride motorcycles, oh, my old Camaro or my
Everybody
old...
wants the one that got away back. You know what I mean? So that's where we are now. We have a basket case, but we're gonna straighten it out. We're gonna get it out to Tutopia. Give it another lease on life.
Yeah, it's had a few adventures. There was a guy came through one time, said, "Hey, I want to do a resto mod on it," and he loaded it all up in his truck and he took it to Maryland, and there it sat for a few years. And finally, my buddy Tom here locally, he's like, you gotta go get that thing, man.
Yeah.
So I jumped in the car and
Well, yeah, you're lucky you got it back.
yeah, that thing could have got thrown away, right?
Yeah.
So yes, I've been toting those parts around in pieces for about 20 years,
I mean, there's a lot of people who don't even know what the Laverda brand is.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't make a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them that are out there are very nice. There's a really loyal group of people that maintain these bikes and ride them. And they're fascinating and wonderful motorcycles.
Yeah. I mean, you have to do it. You have to kind of keep that going.
I think so. And we want you guys to come with us on the journey. I mean, I'm thinking, this is kind of the kickoff, meeting you, seeing where the bike's at. I think we'll eventually, maybe with Nate being busy, it'll get built here. But
yeah.
So, we're going to take off down to Tutopia here in a little while. So next time you see us here, we're going to go find the engine parts, see what Nate's got to say about that. Mm-hmm. You'll see his place, which is very cool. And I just think, I want people to get involved in the project and enjoy this whole process of, the old Laverda going back together. And I think a lot of people will relate to this journey that we're going to take together.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's just so many different layers to it. We've got the history, the nostalgia, kind of the stuff that everybody can relate to. And then, of course, the resto process, which is so, it's just fun to see stuff come together on the creative level, on the technical level. We get to go see Tutopia and hopefully some other, places along the way. Greg Pettigrew doing paint.
Yeah, he's a magician with paint. He's got some ideas for the paint. Yeah.
So
I mean, even the renditioning that you've seen in the videos, it pops up. Brian Case drew that. He who started Motors Motorcycles, and he's a real big inputter of emotion to this project. I mean, I had a long conversation with him the other day, and he's just like, "You've got to do this. Mm-hmm. Just do it. Just get out there, build this thing, bring us along, and anything you need from me, let me know." I mean, he just loves the project. I think this is what's happening. It's attracting a lot of people already, and we haven't really got that far. I mean, this is kind of the start. So.
Right. Yeah. No, it's going to be rad. I'm excited about it.
Perfect. So, guys, we won't keep you any longer. NealeBaylyRides YouTube channel. Thanks. Oh, yeah. We've got to do some cheesy thing about asking people to subscribe. Got any ideas?
Please subscribe. Wouldn't that be nice? That's
real plain. You've got to come up with something better than that. I mean, people aren't going to subscribe if you just say, "Oh, please subscribe."
Who would they listen to?
I don't know. Probably you more than me, right?
Michael K. If I was Michael K, would you subscribe?
There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.